So my partners for this project are Aska and Kapita, and my name is Benedict. We'll be working on the decomposed irreducible quadratic factors. So what is that? So if your polynomial denominator is it's a factor, but you can't factorize it anymore. It's not like reducible. That basically already means that it's irreducible, and that's why we call it an irreducible quadratic factor. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this. So let's get into the video.
Guys, now my name is Aska and I'll be introducing repeated irreducible quadratic factors. So my problem that I'm going to show you is x squared minus 7x plus 8 over x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared. Formula is gonna be a. We're gonna put each of this under a variable. So a over x minus 2 plus bx plus c over, since there's two of them, it's squared, so we're gonna divide them up like one by one. We're gonna write them. So it's gonna be x squared minus 5x plus 2 power of the 1 plus dx plus e over x squared minus 5x plus 2 the square root of 2. So this is the first one and this is the second one. Okay, next what we're gonna do is that we're gonna multiply this on each of them. So times x minus 2 x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared. So this cross out here. Now we have to multiply over here. It's gonna be x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, so over here, x minus 2 cross out, and we're left with, okay, I'm going to tell you what we're left with after I cross everything out on each of them. And then we will come over here, multiply x minus 2, x squared minus 5x plus 2. So over here you can see, it's x squared. Only one of them, and this is 1, and this is 2, so one of them will cross out. Over here, one of them will cross out. So as we cross out, we only left with one of them. So this crosses out, and we're left with one. So let's just, okay. And then times over here, x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared. This out and this out on this side. And then now I'm going to put everything together since we have a lot of cross out. So x squared minus 7x plus 8. Let me make a big line. Plus 8 equals to a over this x over minus 5x plus 2. Okay. Next we have plus bx plus c over, we are left with x minus 2 plus dx plus e over x minus 2. Oh no, never mind. This one is x minus 2 and one of the x squared minus 5x plus 2, since we crossed out only one, so we left with 1. Now what we have to do is we got to multiply this over here, multiply this over here and over here. So it's gonna be a times x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared plus bx plus c times x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2 plus dx plus e times x squared. X minus 2. So after, okay, now on this part you have to do distributive property. So what are we gonna get for, so let's do this part first. I'm not gonna go too in detail because I'm sure you guys know how to do it, so I'm just gonna give you the answer for it. So it's gonna be ax to the power of 4 minus 10a x to the cube plus 29a x squared minus 20 ax plus 4a. It's gonna be a lot, it's gonna be a long process, so just parentheses if you get confused. Now we have to do this one over here. So plus, now you distribute everything over here. It's gonna be bx to the power of 4 minus 7bx cubed plus x cubed c plus 12bx squared minus 7x squared c 7x squared c plus 12x c minus x c minus 4bx and minus 4c. And this is for the second one. Now the last one, which is the easiest one out of all, is this. So I'm just gonna put it on the bottom plus, and then this is gonna go bottom. It's gonna be dx squared minus 2dx plus ex minus 2e. So here's our distributive property. That's all we got from it. Now the part we have to do is we have to rearrange these answers. So hopefully everybody understands it because I'm going to erase this. Now we have, so I wrote this again. We just gonna rearrange it. Just a little bit more and then you'll get the answer. So now we have to rearrange it, which means, so now we gotta rearrange them. So ax to the power of 4 over here. We see it on the second one. And that's it. So now we will put them together. So ax plus a plus b times x to the power of 4. Y'all know how I got this because over here it's ax to the power of 4 and bx to the power of 4. So it's going to be same thing after the distributive property. Next we're going to look for cube. Just minus. So cube one of them here, second of them here, third of them here, and that's it. So we're gonna put it like plus, it's negative 10, it's negative 10a minus, since it's negative, 7b, and then plus x c times all of it times x cubed. Oh, I forgot, this is not should be x because x we already have it, so it's only c. Next we have to do is look for x squared. X squared here, x squared here, x squared here, x squared here. So plus first x squared is 29a plus, let's see the different one. It's gonna be 12b minus 7c plus d all times x squared. Next we have x's, which is gonna be here, 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 and here, and here. So it's gonna be plus, let's see, it's negative 20, so 20a, negative 20a plus, let's see, 12c minus 4b minus 2d plus e, all times x. The last ones, but not the least, the ones those are lonely without any x's, are these, and this. Anything else? No. So it's gonna be plus 4a minus 4c minus 2e. So this whole thing, since we already crossed out, now we go back to our original equation. So x squared minus 7x plus 8 equals to this long equation. So now it's time for us to make find a, b, c, d, and e. So the first thing we're gonna do is try to make these zeros, because we gotta plug in what equals to what. So this is our equation. So over here x4 equals to 0 because we don't have any x to the power of 4. And then we have x cubed. We don't have any x cubed in our equation, so that equals to 0. So the first one, a plus b equals to 0. Negative 10a minus 7b plus c equals to 0. Now our x squared, since our x squared, we have x squared, which equals to 1. Because this is a 1. Yeah, or 1. So 29a plus 12b minus 7c plus d equals to 1. Now we are looking for the x. It's gonna be negative 20a plus 12c minus 4b minus 2d plus e. The x over here equals to negative 7. The last but not least, the numbers without any x's are 4a minus 4c minus 2e. And as you can see, the 8 in this equation doesn't have x either, so this whole thing is going to equal to 8. Now it's getting a little bit more closer to the answer. So So what are we gonna do is, now we're gonna use this to look for our variables. So this is simple algebra 1 or 2 math, whatever you guys would learn this. So I'm just directly gonna give you answers on this. So our A equals to -1/4. B equals to 1/4. Our C equals to -3/4. Our D equals to -15/2. And our E equals to -3. Now comes the easy part. Since we have already found our variables, I'll just erase all this because we don't need this anymore.
3.
Now we're gonna go back to our whole equation, original equation. So x squared minus 7x plus 8 minus x over x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared equals to, since we have found our variables, we can plug them in now in our equation. So our A is -1/4 over, since what we all only had left was x squared minus 5x plus 2 squared. Our B is going to be 1/4 plus C, which is -3/4 over x minus 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2. Last one is plus, our D is -15/2 plus -3 over x minus 2. You can go further, but it's gonna be really weird as
So today I will be showing you how to solve a repeated irreducible quadratic factor. So my problem is 5x squared plus 5x plus 4 divided by 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4 to the power of 2. Now what we have to do is separate the denominator into 3 different sections. So that's going to be a over 5x plus 2, and then plus b x plus c over x squared minus 8x plus 4 squared, and then plus dx plus e over x squared minus 8x plus 4 to the power of 2. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to multiply each one of these by the denominator. So we multiply that by, this is going to be times 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4 squared, and then these two cancel out, so we'll remain with that. So let me go ahead and write that down real quick. So it's going to be a times x squared. So I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier, but since we're multiplying that here, and we're obviously multiplying it here too, so that's going to be 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4 squared. So this cancels out here. And then over here we're left with x squared minus 8x plus 4 power of 2 plus, so here too we multiply it with the same thing, but since there's the square root here, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. There's no square root here. It's just to the power of 1, which is why this square root is there. So here we have it to the power of 1 here. So this would cancel out, but only once, so we're still left with that. So we have bx plus c times, it'd be 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4. And then it's going to be plus, and then we multiply here too, but this whole thing would cancel with that, so we'd be left with the 5x plus 2. So it's going to be plus, I'm going to write it down here, dx plus e times 5x plus 2. Okay, this continues from there. Okay, so what we do next is we basically have to use distributive property and foiling of the FOIL system to distribute the a here and the square root, the power of 2, and distribute this with that and then that there too, and then we multiply everything. So it's a really long and tedious process, so I'm just gonna show you what I got. So after multiplying everything, I got x to the power of 4a minus 16x cubed a plus 72x squared a minus 64xa plus 16a. And let me put it like this, because this is what I got for just this part. And it's going to be plus, I'm going to make another parentheses, it's going to be b x cubed minus 8bx cubed plus cx squared plus 4bx minus x4. Okay, so it's going to be minus 8cx and then plus 4c. So this part right here, sorry, is just this part right here. Okay, so we have this part right here, so that's what we're going to do now, which is 5dx squared plus 2dx plus 5xe. Sorry, let me write these in capital letters since everything else is in capital letters. So 5dx, 2dx, and then plus 5xe plus 2e. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to rearrange everything. We're going to put the x's together, the x to the power of 4's together. We're going to put the x cubed together, and we're going to put the x squares together, and we're also going to put the only x's together too, those ones. So this is what that's going to look like. So we have x to the power of 4a here, so that's just going to be a, and then we're just going to pull out x to the power of 4, and then it's going to be plus negative 16a plus b times x to the power of 3 plus 72a plus negative 8b plus c plus 5d. It's going to be x to the power of 2 plus negative 64a plus 4b plus, so it's going to be plus, I'm going to write it here, 8c plus 2d plus 5ex, and then now we have the ones without the variable x in it. They have all the different variables. So it's going to be plus 16a plus 4c plus 2e. So now do you remember when we still have this part of the equation with us? So we're going to make that equal to this right here. So it's going to be 5x squared equal plus 5x plus 4 equals to this right here. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to look here and look at the problem that we have and see if it's a part of our original equation. But we see here that there's the x to the power of 4, but there's no x to the power of 4 here. So we know that a is going to be 0. So now next we look here. So that's negative 16a plus b, which is also not on this, so that's also going to be 0. Now we look at the 72a plus negative 8b plus c plus 5d, which is x squared. So we do have x squared here, which is, we just look at the coefficient, so that's going to equal to 5. And then next is, I'm sorry, this is supposed to have the x on the outside of the parentheses. X. So now we look at just the x, which is also on this equation, so that's going to be negative 64a plus 4b plus 8c plus 2d plus 5e is going to equal to 5 also. Next we look at the ones without the x in it, so that's 16a plus 4c plus 2e equals to 4. Now what we have to do is basic algebra. We used okay, so now what we have to do is we use systems of equations. For example, we see here that a equals to 0, so we can plug it in here. And anything times 0 is 0, so 16 times 0 would be 0. So our b would also equal to 0. So we do that for all of these. So what we got is a equals 0, b also equals 0, c equals 35 over 12, d equals 5 over 12, and e equals negative 23 over 6. Okay?
What is it?
So we're going to move on a different sheet of paper so we can this out clearly. So what we have to do now is basically plug in all of these variables back to this right here. So I'm going to rewrite that out for us really quickly. So that's going to equal to a over 5x. Pause. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're basically just going to, like I said before, have whatever we had left here. After we multiplied it with this part of the equation, we're going to have that, plug in all the variables under that. So that's going to be 5, no, not 5, a over x squared minus 8x plus 4 squared plus bx plus c over, this is a long one, 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4 plus dx plus e over 5x plus 2. And remember that all of this equals to 5x squared plus 5x plus 4. So I'll just write it here so that we don't get confused. 5x squared plus, actually that's not going to fit there, so I won't write it there. Okay. So what we do now is, like I said before, we just plug in all the variables. So for a, we got 0. So it's going to be 0 over x squared plus 8x plus 4 squared. And then bx, remember b was also 0, so anything times 0 is 0. So I'm just going to write what c was, which was 35 over 12. Divide that by 5x plus 2 times x squared minus 8x plus 4 plus, and then our d was 5 over 12x plus our e was negative 23 over 6. Divide that by 5x plus 2, and remember that it equals to 5x squared plus 5x plus 4. So from now on, it would just get really complicated and we would end up with decimals. So we're just going to stop here.
I'll explain to you or show you how to solve an irreducible repeated quadratic problem. So let's say, suppose you have negative 3x to the power 2 minus 4x over, this whole thing is over 5x minus 1 and x squared minus 3x plus 4, and everything is to the power 2. Well, in some cases you'd factorize this problem if you think you need to factorize it, but in this case I don't see any ways that you can factorize it. So this makes it an irreducible quadratic. This makes it an irreducible quadratic, yeah. And this is a non-repeated. I think that's how you spell repeated, man. I don't know. And this is a non-repeated linear. So now that we know that we can reduce this, we can factorize this problem, we just bring down this problem, and it's negative 3x squared minus 4x over 5x minus 1, x squared minus 3x plus 4, and everything squared by 2, which will equal to a. This is the partial part. We have to separate it. So this will equal to a, which will be 5x minus 1 plus bx plus c x squared plus 3x plus 4, and this will be plus dx plus e over x squared minus, oh no, never mind, plus 3x plus 4, my bad, to the power 2. I know now that we have like big numbers, don't get freaked out. These numbers can be canceled out. So what you would do, you would multiply this section by 5x minus 1 times x squared minus 3x plus 4 to the power 2. So when you multiply this by that, this whole thing cancels out. Just the bottom part, the denominator, cancels out. And then you would multiply the same thing with here. So your 5x minus 1 cancels out. And if you repeat the same process right here, that x minus 3 squared, the x to the power 2 minus 3x plus 4, and then they have that square root 2 right here, that just means that it is also this part, x plus 3x plus 4. So that's the same thing applies here. It cancels out. And then for this problem too, you have the x, you have one of the x's, you have one of the functions cancel out. For this problem, it's just because it looks alike like this one, you'll have, because it looks alike like this one, let me write it down, x squared minus 3x plus 4, to the power 2 and everything. So you'll have it cancel out, but you'll have the 5x minus 1 left for dx plus e. And then that leads you down to your problem. You jot down whatever you have that was left. So you have negative 3x to the power 2 minus 4x equal to a times x to the power 2 minus 3x plus 4, to the power 2 plus bx plus c times 5x minus 1. And then also I'll bring it down because I don't have enough space. Then you have x squared plus 3x plus 4. That will multiply with, that will add with dx plus e times 5x minus 1. Okay, so what do we do next? Next thing you do, you have to solve. And the next thing that you have to do, you have to apply some of your algebra skills. You learned how to do the distributive properties. This is easy algebra. When you do that, you get negative, let me start here, you get negative 6ax cubed plus ax to the power 4 plus 17ax squared minus 24ax plus 16a plus 5bx squared minus bx plus 5cx minus, the problem continues. Just because it's long doesn't mean it can't be solved. That whole thing right there is in brackets. Don't forget to put your brackets. So your brackets are located right there, and you have another bracket right here. You have another set of it. And then plus, now you have your 5dx squared minus dx plus 5ex minus e. So this, the last this equation, I'm gonna just call it an equation. This property is for your dx plus e, and then this other property was for your bx plus c, and this other property up here, this other property, that was your a property. You remember how you have your a plus bx plus c plus dx plus e? That's what you just distributed right here to get. And then next you have to arrange it. You have to find the and now all you have to do is rearrange it. So and now you have to rearrange it. This is the most confusing part. So you have to pay really close attention. And when you rearrange it, you end up with, okay, first of all, don't always forget where you started from. So you started with negative 3x squared minus 4 minus 4x. Why am I not writing this down? Well, do you remember that got canceled that? So all you have left is negative 3x to the power 2 minus 4x, which will equal ax to the power 4 plus negative 6a x to the power 3 plus 17a plus 5b plus 5d power 2, and then you'll also have x to the power 2 plus 24a minus b plus 5c, and then that will come down to minus 5e. Close your brackets. X plus 16a minus c minus e. Now that we're only basically 2 steps closer to finishing off the problem, now you have to find for your x. So we have to bring back the problem, which is negative 3x squared minus 4x. So we look at the numbers that we have already rearranged, and we see x to the power 4. So x to the power 4 is 0. So you really don't need to write that, and that was your a. So all you have to say is a is equals to 0. And then now you have your x to the power 3, because the next power that we have is the cubic one, which will equal to 0. So negative 6a equals to 0. Now we have x to the power 2, which will equals to negative 3. So we have to look for x to the power 2, and we found it, which will be 17a plus 5b plus 5d equals to negative 3. And then now we just have x, so we find which will have to be negative 4, which will have to equal to negative 4. And then that will be 24a minus b plus 5c minus dx minus 5e, which will equal to -4. Now we have to find x equals to 0. What number is it? So we look and we find it. I found it. 6a minus c minus e. So 16a minus c minus e will equal to 0. Will have to equal to 0.